This is the first of 5 videos that will look at how to make an origami bonsai rose bush. So to begin with, I went out and had a look around the internet for pictures of bonsai rose bushes. I came up with this one and this one. Together they give me inspiration for the design we're going to look at here now. Get yourself some 20 gauge copper wire, nice and flexible, doesn't necessarily have to be copper. Create a frame, wire frame. In this case, it's got 3 large branches, wires leading off it for the flowers and for the leaves, and a good bit of extra wire down at the bottom so that you can tie it off once you've based it in a bowl. So here's another design, a little different looking trunk. So lots of possibilities for trunks. So to start, get your paper mache gear together, some strips of paper, your frame, and your paper mache glue. The glue consists of 1 part flour to 5 part water, brought to a boil and then let cool before using it. Here's the wire frame with the first layer of paper mache applied. So build up the paper around the base first. For the first pass, there are about 6 or 7 layers of paper around the bottom. You don't want to go too thick, otherwise it's not going to dry. This is what it looks like after the first pass. 6 or 7 layers in the bottom, 4 or 5 in the midsection, and 1 or 2 layers for the exterior branches. So let it dry. Next day you come back, you've got something that looks like this, nice and hard, ready to put another layer of paper mache on it. So get your paper mache glue out of the fridge. You may want to toss it in the microwave to warm it up a little bit, but it works just as well cold. Apply some of the paper mache glue to the dried model just to soften it up a bit. And then apply another 6 or 7 layers to the bottom section of the trunk. Pay particular attention to the joints of your model and make sure that they're secured well. Work all the bubbles out as best you can. The latter layers won't be so critical because it'll smooth out as you apply more layers. So let it dry. Come back the next day and you have something that looks like this. In this particular case, I probably put on too many layers on the bottom, so it's still a little damp, so I'm going to leave it for another day and experiment with some different roses. In this case, a paper rose, 10-inch piece of paper. This one is a black tissue foil rose. This one turned out quite nice. So I think I'll go with tissue foil for the roses, perhaps red though. So next day, come back, had to add a couple more branches in for leaves. There was a bare space up in the top corner, and then applied another layer of paper mache and ended up with something that looks like this. So you let that dry for a day or maybe 2, and then you apply the bark. So this is a fine wood grain type paper that I bought at a local paper shop. Soften it up in some water first to get it nice and pliable so it's easy to mold onto the base of your model. Apply some paper mache glue to the model again to soften it up. and then apply your bark paper. So you'll want to make cuts in places where there's a corner so that you can wrap the paper around. You want to try to keep the overlap of the paper in the back where it's going to be less noticeable. And cut off any excess. So in this case the paper is a little thin, so you can see through it, you can see the newsprint. So I'm going to put a second layer on. So after the first layer is applied, you let it dry for at least a few hours, maybe a day, and then you apply a second layer. So once your second layer is applied, work all the bubbles out so that you're not left with little divots where the air works its way out. And that's it. The trunk for your origami bonsai rose bush.